Hi, BC family. Welcome to your midweek devotion. This week, I wanted to start off by reading to you John 15, 1 through 8. I talked a lot about last week about drawing near to God, and I just wanted to continue on with that. So it says, I am the vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Any branch in me that does not bear fruit, he cuts away, and he cleanses and repeatedly prunes every branch that continues to bear fruit, to make it bear more richer and more excellent fruit. You are cleansed and pruned already because of the word which I have given you. Dwell in me, and I will dwell in you. Live in me, and I will live in you. Just as no branch can bear fruit of itself without abiding in the vine, neither can you bear fruit unless you abide in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Whoever lives in me and I in him bears much fruit. However, apart from me, he will be cut off, and you can do nothing. If you live in me and abide vitally united to me, and my words remain in you and live in you, ask what you will, and it will be done for you. When you bear much fruit, my Father is honored and glorified, and you show and prove yourself to be true followers of mine. So as you can see in this passage, Jesus wasn't just telling us to enjoy occasional times of talking with him. He told us to abide in him. I'm going to put this over here. The word abide doesn't mean to pop in and pop out. It refers to a place where you remain and you dwell permanently. It's supposed to be a permanent home. He wasn't saying fellowship with me on Sunday and on Monday forget about me because of the busyness of the week that sets in, only to come back on a weekend. No, he was instructing us to make the place of needing and requiring him as our firm foundation and our permanent dwelling place. Jesus told us the consequences of not abiding right off the bat. He said we won't be able to produce any fruit in our lives. That was seen in John 15:6. If a man abides not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men will gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. I love what Gloria Copeland said once. She said, it doesn't matter how close a branch is to the vine. The moment the branch is broken from it, it'll begin to die. You can lay the branch right next to the vine, but if the union has been broken, there will be no life flow, right? There will be no sap flowing from the vine into the branch. And I really liked that visual because the same is so very true for us in our walk with God. When we are too busy to spend our daily time with God in prayer and in his word, and we get distracted and preoccupied with our lives, then we begin to wither. Wither means to shrivel, to lose or cause to lose energy, force, or freshness. A branch that is withering is still attached to the tree, still looks like it's going strong, but the flow, the sap is no longer there, and the longer it goes without its life flowing through it, the more it becomes in danger of falling off, breaking off, or being cut from the tree. Right? When we don't have the continual daily time with God, when we don't have that vital contact with him, then his energy is not flowing through us, and we are not able to produce anything. We may know what to do, but now we're lacking the power to do it. I know I should walk in love. I know I should choose joy. I know I should rest in peace. But when his energy is gone, and I am withering, I may know to do those things, but I can't. And now you're living in fear and anxiety and stress and depression, a constant state of unrest or offense or anger. Because when we skip our times with him, when we make it a touch and go activity or a box to check off, then we are not truly abiding with him, and his promises cannot take effect in our lives. Ephesians 3:20 says, now to him who by the power that is at work within me, through the power he is able to do super abundantly, far over and above all that we dare ask or think, infinitely beyond our highest prayers, desires, thoughts, hopes, or dreams. If we are not abiding or remaining with him day in and day out, taking our morning to sit and have coffee with him consistently, then the sap, the power, stops flowing. And the opposite of that verse is true. The power is not flowing or at work within me, so he is not able to do far over and above what I ask or think. The flow needs to be there in our lives. We need to be abiding with him in order for the power to be at work within us. Here's something that was so key to me. You may be sitting there thinking, well, I've been good for weeks, right? But I'm on vacation now. I'm on vacation time, so that God understands. I've been consistent, but the next few days are going to be busy. God completely understands. And here's something I heard from Gloria Copeland, and it was super key to me. She said, a living connection with God can't be stored up. It's like the manna the children of Israel ate in the wilderness. It must be fresh every day. If they tried to store up manna, it turned moldy and would make them sick. They had to rely on the manna and needed a fresh dose daily. You can't just store up time with God and count it good. You need the fresh dose daily. Jesus made it clear in John 15. He said, abide in me and I in you. I am the vine and you are the branches. He that abides in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. But without me, you can do nothing. So did you catch that? When we skip our daily time with him, when we don't abide or remain in him, we can do nothing, produce nothing. The power won't be there. So when you think, well, I'm just too busy to take the time today, my schedule's packed. No, that's the time that you need to tell yourself, wow, my schedule is packed. So I better get up early today so I can spend extra time with him because I don't want to produce nothing today. I don't want to be without my source of energy or power today. No, I want to produce fruit today because without him, I can do nothing. But with him, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I love that. The Bible is full of ifs, right? But those two letters are so important. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask what you will and it will be done for you. But it started with if. If you are maintaining a living connection with him and his word is pouring into you and speaking into your heart daily, then when you pray, you see results, right? In addition to bearing fruit in our prayer life, abiding in him allows us to bear all the fruit of the Spirit that's seen in Galatians 5:22. The fruit of the Holy Spirit, the work which his presence within accomplishes, is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. When we are born again, all that fruit's there within us, but no amount of good deeds or hard work can manifest in our life. We have to abide in him in order to bear that fruit. So I love this example. A branch of an apple tree doesn't bear apples because it struggles and strives. It bears apples because it's united to the trunk of the tree, and the life within the tree is flowing through the branch to bring forth apples. Did you get that? So when we remain or abide in him daily, his life flows through us and produces spiritual fruit in our lives. So you can tell when the fruit is producing, or you can tell what the fruit is producing, but you can tell when it's producing when someone cuts you off on the freeway or acts ugly towards you. In that moment, you have two choices, right? You can give in to the flesh and be ugly back, or you can respond in love. So two factors in that moment. First, it's your choice. But second, it's the condition of your heart. If you've been daily abiding in him and your heart is full of him, then out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? But if you've been neglecting your time with God, spending more time on your phone or with friends than with him, then it's going to be a struggle to walk in love. So I wanted to end with one last thing. I wanted to end by talking about our roots. Colossians 2:7 is probably one of my favorite verses that I like to confess, so I put it into a confession way. I have the roots of my being firmly and deeply planted in him, fixed and founded in him. I'm being continually built up in him and becomingly increasingly more confirmed and established in my faith, just as I was taught, and I am abounding and overflowing in it with thanksgiving. Roots are so important to protect. It's the life source of a tree. I recently read a book called The Divine Mentor by Wayne Cordeiro. And in that book, he talked about how one of the giant sequoia trees in Yosemite finally fell, and people were shocked the tree fell. It had been around for centuries. So they had to study what would make it fall, and they learned that it was the foot traffic around the base of the tree over the years had damaged the root system, and it contributed to the collapse of this giant tree. So they decided to start protecting all the historic trees by putting up fencing around these trees to keep people from trampling the root systems. So Wayne then showed how we need to protect our root system. Our root system is our daily time with God. It's our morning devotions. It's our daily time in his word and in prayer. And Mr. Cordero talked about how he was in danger himself of falling and he was struggling, but he managed to protect that one part of his life, his root system, and he never allowed his time with God to be missed. And this is what he said about it. He said, "It was a sacred enclosure around my roots that saved me from falling. It was not an absence of stress or of challenge. It was not an absence of problems. It was a sacred enclosure that guarded my foundation and allowed me to keep standing." So this week, don't let the foot traffic of life come in the way of you abiding in him. Don't let the busy days, the constant emails, the kids, the phone calls, the family, the jobs keep you from protecting your root system. When we abide in him, then he abides in us. And his life source, his power, can flow through us, and then we can produce much fruit. So I encourage you this week to confess and read Colossians 2:7 and to have a fantastic week. Bye.